All right, here we go. Betting Weekly Live. Here with you on a Wednesday. Mike Carver along with Doug Kezirian as we get you ready for all of tonight's action. We've got a big night in the NBA. We've got a couple hockey games. Good night at college hoops. Plenty to get into here. Of course, Betting Weekly Studio is part of the Bet Rivers Network. Great to have you. Doug, happy Wednesday. How's it going?
Same to you. It's pretty good. Very disappointed with the best bet performance last night. Sometimes a team that's not that great will shoot 8 of 13 from downtown and a half, and there's not much you can do about it. With that being said, I had other plays that I liked just as much, and woulda, coulda, shoulda. But we turned the page, and a lot going on in the sports world. I guess it's nice because if I have to forget about my best bet last night, I think that's totally understandable because the entire world has forgotten that Bill Belichick cheated for several years. So I guess we can all just erase history and suffer amnesia.
Wow. So how about that? Right out of the gate here, Doug drops on me that he's okay with them leaving Bill out for a year, making him wait a year. How about that, Doug? Give me that.
Well, I think he's the greatest coach of all time. Because I believe his acumen, everything is authentic and stuff like that, but he still cheated. He lived in the gray area, bent the rules, whatever you want to say. He knew what he was doing. But I'm just amazed. When it came down, okay, I was like, oh, so yeah, Spygate. But all of these people are just outraged and shocked. And the theories, they're just pushing back because he was rude at press conference. The stupidity of people not realizing that this was solely because he cheated. Simple as that. And it may have been the voting procedures too. But the fact that people are just trying to create narratives in their head and just completely ignoring the blatant cheating that went down and how the NFL had to cover it up to protect the shield. It's just, I just don't understand how people are so dumb and are ignoring the Occam's razor here, the most obvious thing. Now whether it's justifiable to hold him out of the Hall of Fame on the first ballot, that's a separate conversation. But the fact that people are just completely forgetting the biggest reason why, that's what's so funny to me.
Yeah, you get into Roger burning the tapes with the Spygate. You get
the investigation took a week. Deflategate took 6 months. This thing took a week. You break all the videotapes. You shred the notes. I mean, come on.
The deflated footballs was really dopey. That was a real, and I don't
see other ball boys carrying bags of footballs into bathrooms.
It's true. You're right. But is that some would say that was more Brady than Belichick knows everything that was going on.
Yeah.
But that was you're right. But that's a big topic today. Bill Belichick gonna have to wait a year to get himself into.
He's getting off easy again. I think that's fine.
Getting off easy again. And yes, as you were mentioning, I guess that's the one equalizer. We could talk about these games all you want, but you have no idea if an awful team like Notre Dame is going to come out and just not miss from downtown, which is basically what they did last night. They just would not miss at all. So it happens, Doug, like you say. We had a lot of other good stuff last night. I mean, we got the banger over in the hockey late night that came through. I had a couple. Pitt came through for me too, and we had some good stuff also, as usual. We had a bunch of stuff. We just, as sometimes the daily double just leads us a little awry, but everything else was good.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. You got to fade the big dogs like Nebraska and all those flu reports, got a little scary, but look, St. Louis, right?
Yeah.
They didn't cover.
UMass.
Michigan didn't cover. Miami of Ohio didn't cover. All these big numbers. There's a little bit of a tax. And I think I mentioned this, of course, I'm mentioning it now, but, a month ago, I was like, hey, when this season gets to a certain point, there's going to be some peaks and lulls, and they're going to get everyone's best shot, these top teams. And it's just really hard. I mean, we saw it coming a mile away. Michigan, right? Sorry, Michigan State. They got Michigan on deck. You get Lily Rutgers, perfect time. Now, I did play Marquette first half money line.
Yeah.
Because Creighton's got UConn on deck. Mm-hmm. And then they blew them out by 20-something. So these are things you have to be aware of. Nothing is constant or static, right? Teams are allowed to get better, get worse. Purdue, 3 straight losses. I mean, they could be unranked Now they're at Maryland on Sunday, I want to say. If they lose that, they're going to be unranked. That's going to be 4 straight losses.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just keep that in mind. They were the preseason favorite coming into the season, but there's an ebb and flow to this stuff. Michigan has failed to cover 7 straight. We have some teams like tonight, like UCLA and Oregon. I think the Ducks are going to show up tonight.
We will get there, of course, as we start to get into tonight's action. Let me, of course, first tell you, we do have the Aussie Open still happening, and Bet Rivers has got you set up. Enter the bonus code BWAO26. That's the letter O, BWAO26 in your Bet Rivers app to get a $10 bonus bet to use on an Australian Open wager. That code again, BWAO26. Offer expires on January the 31st. Must be 21. Eligible players only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And also when you log in to Bet Rivers, you can receive a daily Australian Open profit boost to use on the day's matches. So we've got you set up at Bet Rivers for the Australian Open as we are getting down to the nitty-gritty with all of that. All right, Doug, let's roll here. Oh, wait, here we go. Steve's got us going with Belichick. Was there a market for Belichick Hall of Fame to the no? You had your eyes on.
I don't think so. I would have definitely bet it because, it had to be huge odds. And this is interesting. So there's a little bit of a stretch, but the new rules that started in 2025 gave people certain votes, and there was some sort of concept where someone may not want to vote for him because, he'll get in easily. I'm going to use my vote on someone. And then enough people do that, you don't have 11 people voting for him. So it could have just been a byproduct of that. But that's neither here nor there because there are obviously people. I just think the line is so funny, right? Like the Belichick line back in the day, he's like, I thought you just couldn't videotape him for that game. I didn't think it was down the road. And then obviously Bill Polian turns around and lies blatantly. I can't 100% remember if I voted for him or not.
You see, and that's, I think, the part that also gets people riled up because that's just nonsense. And I put this out on Twitter. It's so true. It's like, Bill, we're not asking you why you drafted whoever in the first round of the 90 draft for the Bills. Like, we're not asking you to think back 35 years. This was 2 weeks ago, Bill. You guys voted for the Hall of Fame. If you can't with 100%,
and he probably lost sleep on it for 3 days, 5 days. This is something that he's drawing a line in the sand with.
Enough with Bill Polian. Can we stop with Bill Polian? I mean, the day's gone. Can we move on? Can we get somebody a little younger in there for the Hall of Fame?
I have a good Bill Polian story I'll tell you off air from the days at ESPN. Really funny. Innocent on he did nothing wrong. It was just so funny.
Yeah. But look, Bill, obviously, when I was growing up, was the architect of the Bills. And then, of course, Indianapolis. And you move on and on after that. All right, let's roll here. NBA for tonight. We'll start there because we have a good slate, 9 games tonight, including an ESPN doubleheader. And will this be, Doug, potentially LeBron's last time in the land? Lakers at the Cavs just after 7 o'clock East. Cavs -3.5, 236 the total.
I think I got to side with Cavs here or pass. Now, Cavs are one of the worst records against the spread. If I remember correctly, it's 18-30 ATS, but they've played a lot better. They've covered 4 or 5, I believe. This Lakers team, until Austin Reeves gets back, they're just unreliable. With that being said, they've won 4 of 5, but the loss was against the team, that they could have beat. It's coin flip outcome, let's call it, at the Clippers, which was a home game in LA. But they did go to Denver and win. Really strong win. I was impressed. Frankly, I was impressed with the win in Chicago with the way the Bulls line change and just come at you in waves with offense. I still would say Cavs are past, but I'm not getting involved. There's just smarter things to do than, hey, bet the NBA. But unless there's an edge and really strong look, there's no reason to.
I did see, I believe, when you were bringing up those Cavs numbers, I think they have the worst home ATS in the NBA. I think at home is where they've really taken a beating as far as the ATS goes. Let me ask you this quickly. LeBron obviously hasn't said that this is his last season. There's people that want to speculate. We know that. Do we maybe look to LeBron tonight being back in Cleveland for some stuff, whether it's points or
bet money? It's not his last year.
I feel like
he's going to want some attention. I think he's going to want some attention. I mean, he's kind of an all-star, right? Like he may not be a starter, but I think now look, you're not going to it's not going to be Patrick Ewing in Seattle or Olajuwon in Toronto dragging around a body to just get some paychecks. But if LeBron's this solid of a player, I think he's going to want one more run, and maybe it's back in Cleveland. Maybe it's Miami. Maybe it's New York. Who knows? But I don't think this is his last game in Cleveland.
I agree with you. And look, because I am in your camp, I feel that this is actually one of the few guys who wants the farewell tour, who wants, the gifts in every city. Remember how much Jeter hated that with the Yankees and these other guys hated this stuff? They all come out and give him gifts and everything. LeBron wants all of that, Doug. So I think that he would definitely announce this is going to be my last year. So he gets his flowers everywhere and everyone can bow down to the king, which is what he's really looking for. 36.5 points, rebounds, assists for him this evening. All right, the second game on ESPN, Spurs and the Rockets in Houston tonight. Just after 9:30 East is when this one is. -2.5 for the Rockets, 220.5 is the total. Of course, Doug, they just played, was it about a week ago, in Houston also, and it was a 5-point Rocket win.
And that was the most they were led the entire game was in the final seconds, and it was Rockets blew it. I think the Rockets mustered 14. The Spurs mustered 14 points in the fourth quarter. I'm on Spurs here, first quarter, first half. I think they bounce back, motivated, all that good stuff. Now remember, we've talked about Wemby's substitution pattern. It usually goes out after the first 4 minutes. Sometimes he returns with 2 minutes to go. There's probably better line value in the first half. But Reed Shepherd scares me because he bombs threes. I would still go Spurs first quarter, first half, let the chips fall where they may. And I think you go 1-1 at worst. I think the Spurs are a better team. Rockets been playing better of late, but they're not exactly a covering machine. I also think this is a tough stretch in the NBA between now, which is roughly the midpoint of the season, to the All-Star break, which is on the back nine. So that extra sort of 41 to 55 stretch in terms of games for each team is a little tricky. Rockets have been disinterested a lot this season, but they've also been very good analytically at times. So that's why it's not a banger or anything along those lines.
We're also, Doug, as we were reminded today, just about 1 week from the trade deadline, right? With all the Giannis stuff this morning. Didn't we kind of know, or is this he's made it official, I guess, that he wants to leave? I guess that's what that story was this morning, because we've been talking about this for a while of him potentially getting dealt. But I guess he's finally put his seal on it, that he wants to get out of Milwaukee. Can you blame him, Doug? Honestly, at the end of the day, can you blame Giannis for finally wanting to leave?
No, he should have left a long time ago.
Yep.
This is a pathetic organization. They've tried some things, injury bugs, his own injuries as well. But I do have the only caveat is I do have a problem with guys demanding trades and things like that. You signed on the dotted line. You committed to a time frame. Go to work. Okay. I always defend LeBron. I think the actual decision was stupid, but his decision to leave was fine. Like the Cavs couldn't figure out the front office. They were a joke. They gave him one All-Star, and that was Mo Williams. So he had to leave and go find, but he fulfilled his duties. He didn't demand a trade or anything. I just don't like these guys who demand trades with like 2 years left on their deal, things like that.
Right. I did like Jay Crowder tweeting today that it all went downhill when they brought Doc in. When they got rid of Griffin and brought Doc is when it all went down. When it all went downhill for Milwaukee. All right, let's go next to Battle of Florida as Orlando is in Miami tonight against the Heat. Heat right now -3.5 at Bet Rivers, 231.5 the total.
It's Heat or pass. This Magic team's got offensive issues. I really think there's a lot to be desired. I like the concept of going and getting Desmond Bane, but until they get all the pieces together, I mean, as soon as Wagner went down, it was when Banchero came back. I just think they're limited offensively, and you can play great D, but ultimately it's about offense in this sport. Now they've lost 4 straight. Some would argue it's a great spot to back them. They're going to bring the kitchen sink. Also, Jalen Suggs just came back, so they're getting a little healthier. First game back home for Miami after a 5-game road trip. So one could also argue that this is a nice underplay. So I'm actually going to add under here. And maybe I do like the Magic because it's the first home game after a 5-game road trip. And the Magic are off 4 straight losses. But the Heat are playing well. That would be my only thing. This is a tough spot. They're home for 1 game. and they go back on the road for another. Like, God, this is stupid. Look at this schedule. They come back from the West Coast, okay? One game at home, and then they go to Chicago, and then back home for 3 days. And get this, the next 3 games after the Magic, oh my gosh, this is insane. It's at Chicago, and then home to Chicago, home to Chicago.
Huh.
So they have
Well,
a 3-game series.
The one is a makeup from January 8th. Remember the game where the water was dripping at the top of the United Center? So the game tomorrow is the makeup from January 8th. So that's how they get 3 games in a row with the Bulls.
Baseball? 3-game series?
3-game series. Well, the best of 3 between the Heat and the Bulls coming up this week.
Well, rubber match on Saturday here.
Speaking of unders, it was a dead under in Utah last night with the Clippers and the Jazz. But second night of a back-to-back for Utah. They get right back at it at home with the Warriors in town. Warriors minus 8.5 and a 241.5. Let's go.
It's a big number. Obviously, yesterday went under. My apologies there. Clippers just laid an egg in the first quarter, only 18 points, but the second quarter had 60. So that's something to be said. Now, Keontae George is supposed to come back. So I don't know. I don't want to get in the habit of betting unders in Jazz home games.
Pagula with the straight sets upset to make the Aussie Open Final Four for the ladies yesterday. Nice job by Jess Pagula. I played Sabalenka to win it all. Hope she handles business. Everyone get in. They're using all those, the profit boosts and the bonus bets, all that. They're using all that, Doug, here on our chat for the Australian Open. That's good to see down low.
I mean, that's what you were recommending, right?
We were recommending everybody get involved with the Aussie Open. All right. How about let's go Dallas next here, Doug. They're home for the Timberwolves tonight. Timberwolves are the road favorite minus 7.5, 228 flat the total in this one.
We've established this Minnesota team's kind of a headache, right? They did end what was this? 5-game skid. They pounded the Warriors. Golden State sat Steph and everything. So what do we make of this Minnesota team? I liked the performance from some of the scrubs and the deep parts of the bench. I thought that was, they played hard the entire game, and the Warriors scrubs did too. Now Dallas has been playing pretty well. They had won 4 straight, lost to the Lakers, but they came back from like 12 down on Saturday. They had a game postponed, so they haven't played since Saturday. I lean Mavs here, but they're just so devoid of talent, right? Obviously Cooper Flagg's fantastic, but then after that, it's like Najee Marshall is the second best player. And then they're starting guys like Caleb Martin and Max Christie, and I don't know. So I would go Najee Marshall points over. I'd look at that. I'd also look at some other props. I just think there's a lot of, found money in these box scores because of just how unique things are. But honestly, this is really tough. And this T-Wolves team on paper should blow them out by 30.
They should. Najee Marshall, 17.5 points there, the over-under for him tonight. My Hornets in Memphis tonight against the Grizzlies, and they're actually road favorites here. -2 for the Hornets, 230 flat the total.
Yeah, I mean, this is a coin flip game. This is why you don't bet. These are games you avoid in the NBA. Yeah. I think both teams are kind of bet on spots. Hornets are interesting, but the Grizz have lost 3 straight, so I'd be looking to bet on them. Should be a shootout, 230 points. I'm going to go to the prop market. Cam Spencer assists, with Ja Morant out for an extended period of time. Spencer's my guy. 8.5. I think he had like 13 at halftime the other day or something ridiculous. Or 9 at halftime, ended up with 13, one of those crazy things. So I think I'm just gonna have to play that back-to-back double-digit assist games, and it's not like the Hornets are all of a sudden going to clamp out on defense. So that's looking like a best bet for me.
There you go, Cam Spencer, 8.5 assists this evening. All right, couple other games. The Bulls are in Indiana against the Pacers. Bulls are road favorite at Bet Rivers -2.5. This total's in the mid-230s, 235. Here for the Bulls, who, up and down, go the Bulls. Doug, they've been a yo-yo all season long.
It's interesting here. The Pacers, are they getting better, or they just happen to play better against a couple teams that they wanted to rally against, and now they got to go back to tanking? I think that's the question, because they just got drilled in Atlanta, but they beat the Thunder in OKC outright. But it's a rematch of the finals, right? So they're not going to lay down in that game. I think the Bulls take care of business. This is probably a really good bet. The more I think about it,
Bulls.
The Pacers, no bueno.
Bulls tonight in Indiana.
But Matherin's back. That's one thing to keep in mind. Matherin's back for Chicago.
Hawks are in Boston against the Celtics. Celtics right now -6 now. It's 5.5 before, now 6. 231 the total.
Yeah, this Boston team's a little, weird to figure out. So Garza's going to play. He had some non-COVID illness. He's going to play. Keita, I do not think is going to play, and then all the perimeter players are in. What do we make of Atlanta? I think they're pretty good, right? They're better without Trae Young. It's a nice number to catch 6. They've won 3 straight, including a win over Phoenix, which is no walk in the park, as we know. This is a big one. They had a travel day from home. So here they're coming in. They have Houston tomorrow. This is a big game for the Hawks. I just have a tough time with Boston. They are such a make-or-miss team that when they have the variance, it's the NBA in a nutshell, and I just don't want to get too involved.
They also played him about 10 days ago in Atlanta, and the Celtics beat him by like 30. I mean, the Celtics thumped them that night. So you have that going too.
The Boston is a tough team to figure out sometimes. They really are.
Knicks are in Toronto against the Raptors. So the Knicks played last night, got the win at home against the Kings. Barely covered it too. They won by 16. And then you have the Raptors on the other side, Doug, that's coming back off of a very long West Coast trip. First game home, they had all the West Coast stops. OKC as well on the way back, and they haven't played in a couple days. So Raptors -2 at home, 220.5.
This is pretty interesting. It's back-to-back for New York. Obviously, they did end up covering Kings yesterday. Was it 14 or something?
Yeah, 14.
Toronto, we like them, but we know they have their limitations. They're not world beaters. And the Bigs, I mean, they've won 4 straight. You mentioned the win at OKC. Haven't played since Sunday. They'll be up for this game. It's their only game this week until Friday. So 2 days before, But still no Pirtle. So I just think this team, I like Quickly. I love I love Scotty Barnes, but some of these other guys are just leave a lot to be desired. And the Toronto and the New York firepower is there. So I don't know. Yeah, Towns was having trouble backing down inferior opponents like Westbrook in terms of the post. I think this is a hard pass here.
Knicks have beat him by 26 and 16 both meetings this year. Knicks have beaten them, taken them down pretty good on both prior occasions against Toronto. Last time in Toronto also beat them by 16 in that game. So there you go. Your night tonight in the NBA, 9 games, good slate. Here for a Wednesday night. And Bet Rivers has you covered as well. NBA Wednesday primetime, second chance SGP. Log into your Bet Rivers app or betrivers.com account each Wednesday to receive a second chance same game parlay token to use on either of the primetime NBA games that day. We told you, Lakers, Cavs, Spurs, Rockets is tonight's game. And of course, if your wager does not hit, get your stake back. Go to Bet Rivers app or website for full details. NBA Wednesday primetime, second chance SGP. All right, more hoops, college hoops for tonight. Why don't we start in the SEC, where we have Tennessee and Georgia this evening. This game on SEC Network just after 7 o'clock. He's pick 'em now here for the Vols and the Bulldogs, 159.5.
That's 2.5 earlier.
Yes, it was.
I strongly disagree with the line move here. I think Georgia's the right side. Not in terms of a massive bet, but I would make Tennessee the road chalk here. I mean, look, Tennessee's good. They'll probably go deeper in the tournament, all that stuff. But I just think the spot really favors Georgia here. So that's who I'm on. And I'm having apprehension with the way the line move. That gives me a little concern. I will say the market is telling you Georgia's the right side. So I'd be careful betting Tennessee here.
Yeah, that certainly seems that way. Pick 'em for the Vols and the Bulldogs tonight for you. I'll go with you with Georgia on this one. Houston at TCU this evening as well. Just after 9 o'clock East on ESPN2. Houston minus 7.5. 138.5 is the total. I know they're on the road in Fort Worth, but TCU hasn't been that great this year. Doug, the 7.5 feel a little light to you in this game?
Does. It's come up a little bit. I believe it was like 5.5, 6 overnight. Houston's really good. Now, why am I fading Tennessee and not Houston? Aren't they the same team, basically? Yeah, I just think the spot's better, and I think Georgia's obviously way better. It's Houston off a loss too, but sometimes these games come in pairs. So I would say Houston in a money line parlay is the way to go.
Okay.
And we could add some teams later, but I think Houston's the way to go in a strong money line parlay.
Strong money line parlay. We'll give you some candidates for that soon. Houston is a gift tonight at TCU, according to Henry. Horned Frogs are going to get chewed up. Bank on it from Henry. Where you banking on it, Doug, from Henry here. A gift tonight at TCU. We shall see. By the way, that Nebraska-Michigan game was insane to watch. Rare that I get to watch college hoops over the NBA and the NHL, but it was a good matchup. It was, I think, Doug, you could say everything you want from a top 5 matchup, right? You got that in Nebraska-Michigan. It was a hell of a game right down to the end. And the dog covered for us, which is what matters the most.
I'm a little disappointed with just like the second half, the quality of play. I mean, I think neither team could hit a 3 forever. Now, it's understandable Nebraska ran out of gas, but Michigan just leaves a lot to be desired. I think the second half, so first half, give Nebraska all the credit in the world. I think the second half is more about Michigan not playing great than it was Nebraska playing well.
There you go. It was a very good one, Steve. That's for sure. All right. Other TV games tonight. Xavier at Seton Hall at the Rock in Newark. This is on Peacock just after 7:30 East with Seton Hall minus 6.5. 144.5 is the total. I got to tell you, Doug, I kind of like Xavier tonight. Honestly, Seton Hall has been, they've been letting go of the rope a little bit recently. I mean, they lost to DePaul.
4 straight losses, including at DePaul.
I mean, they lose to DePaul. They lost to Butler at home. Obviously, listen, losing to UConn and St. John's, whatever. You know, that 2-point game at home with Creighton. Like, they have not given me a lot of confidence where I want to go and lay 6.5 with them tonight. And look, Xavier's not, they're not Houston, but still, I think I might take the points with the Musketeers here at the Rock.
Yeah, I would only take the dog here. Mm-hmm. That's the only way I could play it.
That's how I'm going to play it. I'm in, baby. Let's go. Give me the X tonight at the Rock. Elsewhere, let's go Big Ten. USC heads to Iowa against the Hawkeyes. 9.5, 141.5 the total.
So are we sure it's 141.5?
I have got.
So this number's moved. It was overnight 141.5. Went to 137.5 this morning. I believe it's 135.5.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I bet this overnight at 141.5. I had to do a pick in the New York Post. So it got me thinking, I was looking at UCLA money line or UCLA spread, and it was 2.5, and now it's 4.5, 5. I think the under is a really good play. So top two scores for Oregon are out. It's Biddle and Shellstat. Now, so we're now, we got USC, Iowa. So I apologize. I thought we were going to Oregon, UCLA. That is my mistake. This game, I can't figure out the Trojans. Typically, when teams do in these travel spots, go win on the road like USC did on Sunday in Whiskey, it's really hard to pick up the spare on the back end. We saw this with last week with Northwestern going to USC, winning outright, and they had no shot against UCLA. So I have to fade the Trojans here, but 9.5 is a big number. I think the Hawkeyes get them. But if Arenas, yes, Gilbert Arenas' son goes off, or Baker Mazzara goes off, like there's nothing you can do. I still think the Hawkeyes cover if I had to play it, but I think Iowa's a great leg in a money line parlay.
Iowa tonight, minus 9.5. And yes,
with Houston would be nice. Nice little
yes,
1-2 combo there.
That's minus 210, the two of them together, money line.
All right. Well,
Iowa
you can add Utah State while you're at it.
Add Utah State while we're
Online
there.
Online shopping.
Well, I'll go there then. Since you said Utah State, I'll bring them up next before I get to that UCLA and Oregon game. And of course, we love late nights in the Mountain West here on this show. And Utah State has Wyoming tonight. 2 tutties and a hook, 14.5 with a 148.5.
Wyoming's not good. They barely beat San Jose State, and Aztecs are not good. They're getting better, meaning getting healthier, but they're not good. I don't know how else to put it. And so, I mean, I think they're going to blow them out. I think this is a cover. Not in a rush to lay this kind of lumber. You get the back doors, maybe a first. I just think Wyoming got a nice big win that they needed in their last game. So they're coming into a buzzsaw over Utah State. But it's not like the Aggies are off back-to-back losses or anything like that. But I think they're going to be completely outclassed here. This Wyoming team really struggles.
And I think you did complete the hat trick with the Mountain West late night last night, right? Because you had Boise State.
We got the unders. We got
in a hammer job. Now Nevada was overtime with the Antelopes, but they still ended up covering with the 6. And that UNLV game stayed under as they got smashed.
Despite 85 in the second half, it still stayed under.
Smashed.
That's how good the first half was.
Let's see what else.
Go Harry.
UCLA and Oregon. This is the game you were mentioning. Utah State lost outright to UNLV. Wyoming beat UNLV by 30. Does that mean anything? You got to be the Mountain West late night could be crazy, Henry. That's what it means. Wild things happen.
So even without Air Force, have a mini bye. I can still pick winners in the Mountain West. That's quality.
Late night in the Big Ten. UCLA. This is a late start. Just after 11 East. UCLA up to Eugene to see the Ducks. UCLA minus, I actually got this down to 3.5 now on the Bet Rivers app, and the total 136.5 as of this second. 136.
Yeah, this is the game I was mentioning. So overnight it was 2.5, 141.5. I played the under. Went up to 4.5. Now there's some buyback in the market. I think the number's too high. So I mentioned it. Top 2 scorers of the Ducks are out, Biddle and Shellstat, and they just lost by 15 at Washington. Dana Altman ripped them because Washington dominated the boards, 45-23 advantage. So I think the Ducks will play hard. Remember, this is a team at home that led Michigan by 1 at the break. I think that I just think they're going to play so hard. Now, Oregon in the Big Ten, they are the worst team in terms of defending offensive rebounding. So, defensive rebounding. So I think with Altman calling them out, they're going to crash the boards pretty hard. That's effort. And I think that's going to limit the Bruins' second chance points. And I think you're looking for edges and small difference makers. This looks like 70-63. It's going to be close, but I don't think the Bruins, Oregon's gone under, I think 5 straight or 6 straight, and UCLA's gone under 6 of 7. One of those kind of trends. So that's why the market got hit hard. I still think it's a little on the high side, but what you can do is do a little, get the slider involved, right? You get this back up to like 144.5, something like that.
Ooh.
You add Iowa money line. You add, you play with the numbers a little bit. You get a pick 'em.
How about that? There you go. Play with. We're advocates of it. Mess around with the slider if you need to.
Because I just think like 4 more points and stuff like that is like another minute on the clock. So just think if the game was shortened to 39 minutes or something like that. So these are things you have to think of. Gotta have
the eyes on all of this stuff. Let's go to one of our favorite trends so far this year. You put it down. You know that I was going to put it down, and that's these Denver overs. Came in for us barely last Thursday night, but it came in. They are in Kansas City tonight. Who, by the way, man, are they bad? 4-17, Kansas City. Though the Denver number is 163.5. Technically, Doug, they're 17-2 to the over now because that one that we hit last Thursday night, we got the over, but it closed 2 points higher than we got it at here on the show. So it's 17-2, the overs in the Denver games. For us, it's 18-1, but overall it's 17-2.
So what was it? 10 points in the final 8 seconds?
Yeah, 10 points in the final 8 seconds. Yeah.
Wow.
Got
Reggie Miller had nothing on these guys.
Nope.
Tracy McGrady had nothing on those two teams.
Look, I'm in on it again. I'll go to it.
It's hard not to, right? I mean,
yeah. Look, it's just and now they've played Kansas City already this year. It was they had 161 it landed at. And the total
Palm has 164.
Tee it high and let it fly.
And 84-80. So
look,
there you go.
I'll look at it this way, Doug. Make us stop playing it. Give us a reason to stop playing it, and then I'll stop playing it. They haven't given me a reason to stop playing it yet. So I'm going to go over Denver, Kansas City with the 163.5 tonight. A couple others that caught my eye. You know me, Doug. I always got to find the weird ones on the board. 8-12 Florida State is a 3.5-point favorite tonight at home against 15-5 Cal. The riddle me this line of the night. Now, Florida State actually hasn't been too bad lately. They lost by 3 at SMU. They beat Miami by 2. They lost by 1 to Wake Forest. Hanging around, Doug, hanging around. Give me the Florida State Seminoles laying the 3.5 against 15-5 Cal. Let's go.
I kind of like Cal here. I just think they're overestimating the travel spot. I think Madsen's got a good squad. He's well coached. They're well coached. I kind of like him here.
Would you would that also apply maybe for you with Stanford in Miami tonight? Who's catching it?
Stanford's not as good.
Stanford not as good. So we will not go the same. Now, and also Florida State. I thought, look, they are 8-12. They're not a good team, but it's just one of those lines that kind of as you know, I usually find one a day for you, Doug, that jump out at me and I go,
oh, yeah.
What's happening here? What am I missing? The WAC I'll go to too. No, excuse me. The WCC. No WAC for me tonight. We're going to go West Coast for Wazoo. They have Seattle in the building tonight. We're going to go with the Cougs minus 2.5 against Seattle at home. Seattle 14-8, playing well, blah, 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 blah. Give me Wazoo tonight at home in Pullman. Minus
Sonics left.
Wazoo, baby. Let's roll. So a little WCC for me tonight.
By the way,
yes,
we're not done with the Mountain West. I like the Aztecs a little bit, at least on the money line parlay.
I was about to bring this up to you because we love the Mountain West so much. That's at Colorado State and San Diego State tonight. Really good game in the Mountain West. So you like the Aztecs to throw them in the money line aspect.
I think they're getting better, and I think Colorado State's not that great. So, again, you're looking for them in Iowa kind of thing, Yeah. I think Houston's on the road, so you may want to avoid that. But I think that would be a nice piece.
Two other ranked games. St. John's is back in the top 25. They're at the Garden tonight, not Carnesecca, Garden against Butler. And they're laying a big number, which I believe I saw is 12.5. I can't bring it up on my app right now, Doug, because I'm in New York. But I believe it's about 12.5 against Butler. And Florida is favored on the road in South Carolina, minus about 13.5. So those are the other two.
I don't have a good read on that Florida team. I go back and forth. I think they should take care of business against South Carolina, but the SEC it just means more. So you got to be a little careful there on the road.
It does just mean more, as always. I know we had a little something on here for futures. Maybe we could dig into that tonight, Doug, and maybe bring a couple up tomorrow if you want.
I'll throw this out there.
Sure.
I've made worse bets than the Bruins at 200-1 to win the Big Ten.
Wow. And is that regular season, or is that the tour? What?
Yeah,
that's the regular season?
I believe. Oh, that's a good point. I don't even know. No, it's regular season. Sorry.
Okay.
So their next 4 games they should win. They have this game at Oregon, and then they have 3 straight home games. Now, then they go, I believe, Michigan and Michigan State. They can maybe get a split there. And so I think that would give them 4 losses. They host Nebraska later. And then there's going to be some more carnage. But I don't think Michigan's that good. They're the favorite. Nebraska's the second favorite. There may be some reckoning coming. And remember, they have 2 guys out right now. And then Purdue was the favorite. They're Illinois is there as well. So I've made worse bets than 200 to 1.
200 to 1 Bruins to win. Oh man, would you still get a surly Mick Cronin after the game if they won the Big Ten regular season title? Would you still get Cronin at the podium complaining about something if that happened? Probably. He'd find something to complain about, right, Doug? Maybe the shirts don't fit. If they got shirts, regular season champions, he'd probably complain about that. We love Mick, but he does like to complain here and there. Betting Weekly Live. Here with you on a Wednesday, Mike Carver, Doug Kezirian, of course. And if you like what you see on our show, as you should, make sure you subscribe to the Betting Weekly Studios channel on YouTube, where not only can you check us out, but our other shows, including Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. Nigel Seeley and Sean Calvert share their best bets for the semifinal matchups in the men's Australian Open. We've got, how about this heavy hitter game? Djokovic against Jannik Sinner, Alcaraz against Zverev. 4 heavy hitters on the men's side in the Australian Open semis. Nigel and Sean got you set. Betting Weekly Game Bet Match for those contests there. All right. Very light night, Doug, in hockey here. Don't have much. Only 3 games. The national TV game is probably the worst of the 3, too. I don't know how they figure that out sometimes. But they do it, and that's the NHL for you. Flyers are in Columbus against the Blue Jackets. Blue Jackets now, it's gone up, minus 127 at home. Flyers plus 102, and that's a 6.5. I'll pass, Doug, on the Flyers and the Blue Jackets tonight. And that's because we got Islanders Rangers. First night of a home and home. They're playing tonight at the Horse Track in Elmont. And then tomorrow night, they are playing at the Garden, the world's most famous. So we have a back-to-back night with the Islanders and the Rangers. Islanders tonight minus 141. Rangers plus $1.14. The total is 6.5. That's because, Doug, you're getting the backups tonight. So the kid Martin's starting for the Rangers and Riddick is starting for the Islanders. Tomorrow night you get Sorokin, who's, of course, the leader for the Vezina, and Jonathan Quick, who he isn't good anymore anyway. So that's what you have in terms of goalies the next 2 evenings. The Rangers have not scored a goal against the Islanders in both meetings this year. The Islanders have outscored them 7-0. Islanders tonight, Doug?
I think you have to, don't you?
Think you have to. Now, before I saw that Sorokin was out, I was going to, you talk about messing with the slider. I was going to take the Ranger team total under 1.5. And it was like plus 250. But then I saw Riddick is playing. Now, Riddick shut him out too this year. But I think I'm going to save that in the holster for tomorrow night, Doug. I think I'm going to try that Sorokin under, little bonus plus money play. Try to go after the Rangers not scoring tomorrow night. But I like the Islanders tonight at home to beat the Rangers. Want to puck line it?
I just think 140 is not that rich, considering the situation. Now, I know it's not like really a big road trip for the Rangers, but they're not in their building. They're a little better, but I just think the Islanders will take care of business here.
Would you like Isles in regulation at plus 112?
No, because they have the goalie edge.
Okay. Minus 141. Islanders tonight against the Rangers. And the other game this evening is Colorado in Ottawa against the Senators. We're used to seeing, Doug, what do we normally see with Avalanche? Minus 250, minus 275, minus 300. I know they're on the road tonight. Only 152.
Ben's rallying around.
I know. They've
turmoil.
Yes.
The anti-media or whatever they want to call it. They were furious.
They have started a rally.
So let's think about this. They beat the Knights 7-1, and then they've had a couple days off. Like, what are they doing? Are they celebrating? Are they reading the press clippings? Are they getting ready for the Avalanche? I don't know. I question that they're going to be ready to play.
You want to do, and look, maybe we're getting ourselves a little too crazy. What about, for funsies, Islander Avalanche moneyline parlay? Any thoughts? Plus 322. Islanders Avalanche moneyline parlay.
I can get behind that. Look, we know this from baseball and I guess hockey. If you bet it often enough, you got to win a lot more than you lose to cash 140s and 150s when they're favorites. So doing pieces like that. What you can also do is start to put together your parlays with Super Bowl props, Super Bowl, Seattle money lines if you like that side. Have a real big sort of crescendo of your portfolio a week from Sunday.
Doug, I'm glad you brought this up. And you know what? It's a little bit of a lighter day. It's a great day to talk about it. I love doing this. I do it every year. I've already started doing it. We made a lot of fun about the Stonehill game the other night. I threw Stonehill with Seattle money line. I have, a little bit, like you say, bits and pieces, just kind of, and it all kind of adds up if you get enough of them over those 2 weeks. So then you're sitting there the morning of the Super Bowl. You're like, oh, look at all this I've already got in play. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Right?
As long as you just make sure you don't need more action on top of that. I got a text from Macero here. I'm going to call up because, he's got those futures on the Patriots, 80-1,
yes,
60.
He does.
I just went to Hoover Dam, parlayed probably 25 different parlays, all starting with Seattle alt line plus 3.5. So he wants to take care of business here, there, some college basketball. And then he's got a nice hedge. You can scoop it all, obviously, with the alt line if the Patriots win by 1, 2, or 3.
So Macera was upset about some loud music the other night, too. I saw about that also.
Usually I don't agree with his rants, but I think he was 100% justified.
We love Chris here on Betting Weekly Live. All right, only 3 games. I'm going to play the Islander Avalanche moneyline parlay, too, because why not? There's only 3 hockey games tonight, so I'm jumping in. And I'm just staying away from that awful Flyer Columbus game tonight. All right, one more time. I mentioned all the Australian Open stuff before with great semifinals on the men's side tonight. Make sure you go on your BetRivers app and you enter the bonus code BWAO26. That's the letter O in your BetRivers app to get a $10 bonus bet to use on an Australian Open wager. That code again, BWAO26. Offer expires January 31st. Must be 21. Eligible players only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Also, when you log in your BetRivers, you can receive a daily, this is every day, Australian Open profit boost to use on that day's matches. And you've got some fire ones tonight to be able to use them on. So make sure you get involved. All right, before we do the best bets in the Daily Double, Doug, we do have next PGA Tour event teeing off in the morning. The Farmers Insurance at Torrey Pines, Southern California, of course, the North and the South course. They'll be at over the first couple of days. I do got a couple of outrights that we can get involved with here if anyone so chooses. I am going to start with JJ Spawn at 30-1. I feel like this is a little bit of a numbers play for me, Doug. JJ Spawn, you can make a case, is the second or third best player in this field. I mean, you look at World Golf Rankings, which nobody really cares about. You look at what they've done over the last 12 months. You look at what JJ Spawn does on hard courses, especially, Torrey Pines is one of the tougher ones they'll play here early in the season. He should be more closer to Xander, where he is at the 18 range, than he should be at the 30. So I'm going to play Spawn because of the number at 30-1. That's going to be my first crack. Taylor Pendrith at 40-1. Taylor Pendrith, though, has gone in the top 10 at this tournament the last 2 years. He plays very well here, and he's also a guy that plays well on some tougher courses, which, as I mentioned, we do have. And the other one's also a bit of a numbers. Akshay Bhatia, 70-1. Way down on the board for Akshay, who's gotten off to a bit of a slow start, but this should be like 45 or 50, not 70. So there's a couple of guys that I've kind of just found the numbers with this week, Doug, and that's kind of where I'm looking to for this Farmers.
So question for you, when you have a 70-1 in your portfolio for the weekend and a 30-1, do you bet the same amount, or do you bet like 0.1 unit, like half of, 0.05 unit?
I try to keep the same amount for every outright that I play, whether that's a quarter of a unit, things like that. I try. Now, look, if I'm taking a bomb, I'll give you an example. I found a Tom Hoagie at 230-1 the other day for this tournament this weekend. I'm not going to play a little bit less than I would probably play on a normal one. But my main 5 guys that I'm going to play that weekend, whether they're 30, 50, 70, I'm going to play them at the same amount, usually for the most part.
So when you hit a bomb, you hit a bomb.
When you hit a bomb, you hit a bomb. Now, look, if there's a favorite I really like, and let's say it's a week where maybe Rory's 13 or something at a tournament, and I really like Rory and I'm going to play him, I'm probably going to go a little more and maybe not play as many guys, because I'm on a chalkier guy. So, but if I like to do 5 guys, and I'll play those 5 guys at pretty much the same number, usually, for the most part.
I mean, I think like the plus 400s are a little different, but what I meant is the 18 to 1s, the 25 to 1s versus the 70 to 1s.
No, I play them like you said. I wanna get some worth. If I'm gonna hit a guy at 70, I want it to feel like I'm hitting the guy at 70. So I use pretty much the same. I don't fraction them up and down depending on what the number is at that point. So that's where. And if you want a couple top 40s, Tom Hoagie and Hao Tong Lee, I saw good top 40 numbers for them at Bet Rivers, and Max will be upset with me because I didn't put those on there. But I believe Hoagie was plus 230 for a top 40, and Hao Tong Lee was about plus 115 for a top 40. So I like those guys. So I got a little golf, Doug. I'm ready. I love the golf.
Well,
and I'm
you opened the season with a monster, so I mean that's everyone's dream. Now you're literally playing with house money.
I'm in the plus for the first portion of the season. I've started the year with a little breathing room up at least until the Players and the Masters, right? I got a little bit until then. Hey, fellas, listen every day, but don't catch it live often. Thanks for the great content. Love listening to your insight. Thank you so much. We've been getting a lot of nice notes like this lately, Doug, and I have to thank people for them. Been getting a lot of nice notes.
It is nice. I do appreciate that. So I'm glad you brought that up because usually in this world, 90% of feedback is negative because people are motivated by anger or whatever. So the fact that people are willing to take the time to do that, it does, mean a lot. So we appreciate it. It's very kind. And it reflects well on you. So you should hold your head up high today.
It is nice that we've gotten mostly positive feedback as it comes to the show. All right, let's do it. Best Bets, the Daily Double for a Wednesday night here on Betting Weekly Live. You know what I'm doing, Doug. Denver's playing tonight, and I'm taking the over. I know they're playing this awful Kansas City team, 163.5. Me seems like a little bit of a tough haul. I'm going after it. Up, 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 and away for Denver.
All right, I'm going to do the under in that UCLA-Oregon game, but the market's moved, and I'm going to do some of the I hope it doesn't burn me by getting too cute, but I'm going to add Utah State money line, which is a monster money line. So you're only getting 20 cents down, but you're getting a couple extra points on the alt total. So under 138.5, where the market's 135.5. So I think those 3 points are going to matter more so. So I just think there's more ways that this lands 136, 7, or 8 than it does Utah State loses at home to Wyoming. I think this Pokes team leaves a lot to be desired. I think they're 14-point dogs or whatever they are. I think they get blown out. Could be 12, could be 8. I'd be very shocked. So, you want to add that, get a little extra, brings it down to minus 115 on an alt line.
Brings it down to minus 115 there for the Utah State money line. UCLA, Oregon, alt under 138.5. I am still calculating, so I hope that Max. I knew he would. Plus 254. Denver KC
That's the other thing. We got to get above 250 in order to win.
Denver KC over 163.5. Utah State money line. UCLA, Oregon, alt under 138.5. Plus 254. The Daily Double for tonight on Betting Weekly Live for us here. And Doug, I'll even make another correction because I make mistakes too as we go out the door. When I put that Islander Avalanche parlay together, I still had Iowa and Houston in my slip when I added them. I went back and I was like, man, plus 300. That seems like a lot. It's about plus 180 for the Islanders.
I was going to say, it did shock me when you said that because it was 2 minus 145 favorites. That's usually not plus 300.
So we realize our mistakes and we correct them. It's about plus 180 for the Islanders and the Avalanche. And hey, if you want that plus 330, you could do the Iowa and the Houston money lines with them and go the whole way for all 4 of them if you would like. So there you go. Doug, great job. Thank you, plus 184. Doug, great job. As always, we will be back tomorrow on Betting Weekly Live, 4 p.m. East, 1 p.m. Pacific. On another loaded night, NBA, NHL, and college hoops for us here. Everybody have a great evening. Enjoy the games. We will see you back here tomorrow on Betting Weekly Live.